off your purchase. That's neverforgottenapparel.com.
Dating today with all the crazies out there has to be nuts.
Yes, it really would. Wouldn't it be nice if there was a place you could go to find people who think like you do?
Like me, like libertarians and conservatives?
Right?
There is. WeThePeople.dating.
Amazing. What a genius idea. This is a site that you can go to if you're single and you are looking for somebody who you know you're going to think the same way, as for from a political freedom standpoint. If you want to date the right person for you, you'll find them in one place. WeThePeople.dating.
Have you done it? You catch a glimpse of yourself in the mirror?
I'm one of those people you don't want to see naked.
Yeah, most of us. But I mean, you look and you're going, what the?
I know.
How did I get to whatever?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, it's horrible. Hey there, it's Doc Thompson and Brad Staggs to tell you about a different way to shed those pounds. This is brand new tech. It's only been around for a couple of years or so. It was based on research from the University of California that said there's a molecule called OEA that's found naturally in your body. It produces it in the Mediterranean diet, that when taken in concentrated amounts, it will actually make you feel fuller and boost your metabolism.
I've lost about 10 pounds so far.
It's amazing.
It
now,
really is cool.
A company said, we can take this to market and make this great product that'll help you. It's called RiduZone, RIDUZone.com, RIDUZone.com. It's Brad's work. It's worked for Brad's, worked for me, countless other people. Go to RiduZone.com and try today. You're going to love it. RiduZone.com. Remember that, RIDUZone.com.
And we're live from the Spoony Studios here in glamorous Haltom City, Texas, with a beautiful Mojo River right outside. If you've never seen it, we need to put up a little video feed for you someday. It's really beautiful. It's better than any river in Colorado I've ever seen, just FYI. It is Monday, one day after the conclusion of the Oscars. Did your film win? Did it?
I don't know. Nah,
it didn't?
No. I was supporting Roma. Which one were you supporting?
I wasn't really. To be honest with you, I don't think I've watched a full Oscars. Last night I watched quite a bit, but I haven't watched a full Oscars in years. It was very interesting. What I thought was really cool last night, it was not as political as in, say, the last 5 or 10 years. Yeah. And they were very, very, they cut a lot of people off last night, a lot of big names, actually,
yeah.
which was interesting. Who was the one that won Best Actress for...
I don't remember.
Okay.
I just saw bits of it.
She was funny. She was really adorable. The British lady, she was hilarious. She looks at her. She said thank you to everyone. Then she kind of said something, I think, directly to her agent, saying this probably won't happen again. It was really funny. Anyways, if you didn't see the Oscars last night, I guess it was a pretty good show. So, but if you did watch, what did you eat? What did you eat during your Oscar party at home last night? A lot of people had some fancy menus. See, I'm trying to figure out, there's this whole watch party thing on Facebook so I can invite all of my friends to watch my video, and I can't figure out how to do this. I'm not having good luck with this, but I'll figure it out. Start watch party. Here we go. Good. Now, everybody I know, post right now. Woohoo! Now, everybody I know will see it. I can't complain anymore that Facebook is not taking care of me. All right? It's my fault if I don't get it to work from here on. So, having worked in Hollywood for a long time, well, at least a few years, at Universal, we did a lot of things that were like, we'll say, large event-based. I remember we catered the NAACP National Image Awards one year, and that was like, I don't know, it was supposed to be for 2,100. It ended up being like 3,600 people through 5 double-sided buffet lines with displays that were just 30 feet tall. They were massive. That was when it was a great night. The people enjoyed the food, but it was one of the ugliest business nights I've ever had to deal with as far as producing the food and getting it out into the tent. It was like a 60,000 square foot tent that we had. It was huge. So what did you have last night? Cold cuts. Did you have what'd you have, Isaac?
I had cold cereal.
Did you have cold cereal?
I'm a college student, so I'm struggling.
That's what chefs have too, usually. Yeah. That's what we have at the end of the night, cold cereal.
Cold cereal?
Yeah. Cold cereal, you open a can of black beans, strain them.
Yeah.
And then you can dice up some avocado, a little bit of maybe red onion. Oh. And, this is a tip for cheap, when you got to eat on the cheap and fast.
I do like black beans, actually.
Do you?
Yeah.
So black beans, diced avocado, some diced red onion, cilantro, lemon or lime juice, salt, pepper, maybe some fresh garlic, maybe a little Valencia hot sauce. I like that stuff.
Nice.
And then maybe a fried egg if you really want to get fancy. It's super easy. And if you don't want to feel like mincing garlic, just use garlic powder and onion powder. You don't have to chop onion if you want to. It tastes
makes it easier for you.
But anyway, so Wolfgang Puck is the official caterer for the Oscars. And if you don't know who Wolfgang Puck is, I'm very sorry. He is one rock star of a man, an amazing chef, and his story is even more incredible. He was married to Barbara Lazaroff, who's a brilliant designer. She, as a matter of fact, designed most of his restaurants. Now, I haven't kept up with him lately. I haven't really followed his career the last 10 years. But basically, she was the woman behind the man who told him, look, gather your things, your cojones, go in there and ask your boss for a raise and tell him, I run the kitchen, I want more money. It's kind of that kind of a story. But he is one rock star of a chef, and he has a long and glorious career in Hollywood, specifically in that Southern California area. But he's got restaurants in San Francisco and all over. And in almost every airport, you see a Wolfgang Puck cafe. There's all sorts of stuff. So last night's Oscars party, right? So Wolfgang Puck, again, created the food. His company catered it. Man, I'm looking at this spread right here. This is pretty unbelievable. This looks like, man, there's all sorts of, I can't even tell you. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 25 dishes just right here in front of Chef Wolfgang Puck here. But let's go through the menu. So they do, they make the dishes are actually themed after each show and sometimes after specific stars. But this year, right, they included, let's see. All right. Chicken pot pie that was raved about by past attendees, including, some of the other dishes included crabbed deviled eggs, spicy ranch popcorn. Spicy ranch popcorn. Spicy ranch popcorn. Actually, if you mixed your own ranch dressing spice blend before you add in the buttermilk, that'd be perfect, right? It's because it's a dry powder. He had crostini with New York steak and chimichurri served as an amuse-bouche. And an amuse-bouche is actually something that amuses the mouth. So a lot of times French chefs use that, or traditionally. It's either something to open the meal that you give to either special guests or as part of a tasting menu. And it's basically one bite. It's a single bite of food. It can be savory. It can be sweet. It could be something to cleanse the palate between courses. But an amuse-bouche, the cool thing about that is to get all of these components, or as many, to make as complex a dish as possible in a single bite is a huge challenge. There was actually a restaurant in Chicago, I think, called Amuse, actually. And trying to think of the chef there was. Anyway, another chef in Houston, Chef Jason, he was a really good friend of mine. He became the chef at I believe it's the best kitchen in all of Texas. It is at it's outside Brenham. Damn it, I'll think of it in a minute. But anyway, it is a Relais, Chateau and Relais property, which there are only 20 or 30, 40 in the world. Basically, you've achieved the highest level of cuisine. But Jason, Jason kind of fell off the map, so I'm not going to mention his name, but Jason is an amazing chef. He took that kitchen from being basically, they had 2 rooms and just the kitchen. They put in a garden. They raised their own, cattle at some point. They cured their own charcuterie. It's really amazing. The Inn at Dos Brisas, DOSBRISAS, Dos Brisas. If you're in Texas, you want the number one place to go and stay, according to me. I would make a weekend there. It's very expensive. It's very exclusive because they don't have very many rooms, but it is one heck of a dining experience. So let's get back to what we had here. So amuse-bouche, again, something you do between courses. And let's see, hors d'oeuvres were things such as Wolfgang Puck's signature pizza. Okay, well, that's okay. Spicy tuna tartare and sesame miso cones. Now, that's something that he's been doing for a long time. They basically bring a little tray around that looks like it has a bunch of little ice cream cones stuck in it. The ice cream cones are basically a sesame miso cracker that's been rolled while warm into that shape. They let them cool, and they fill it with a spicy tuna tartare. They had smoked salmon Oscars matzah. So they use matzah as the cracker, right? Unleavened cracker. If you're Jewish or part of the tribe, then you understand what that is, and most people know what matzah is anyway, if you ever had matzo ball soup. Interesting. Smoked salmon Oscar's matzah. Well, that's good. If you're kosher, then you can eat that. Okay, they had sushi as well at the Raw Bar. They had everything from scallop ceviche to made to ori nigiri sushi. No, that's not a bad word. Nigiri means pressed in the hand. Nigiri. Nigiri. The other ones are called maki. The rolls are called maki, right? So they had made to order sushi. Made to order sushi. There are a lot of people at these parties. I mean, a lot of people at these parties. Action stations are very cool, but I can't imagine how stressed out the chefs were at each station trying to serve everyone. All right, so let's see. On the dessert side, they had hot and cold plates on the regular hot food side as well. The desserts, they had cookies, macarons, the French little macaron cookies. They're basically an egg white, fluffed, like really airy, slightly chewy inside cookie. They're crunchy on the outside, chew on the inside. They're really light. When you chew them, they almost turn into like caramelly candy, right? But then they have some sort of filling between them. If you've never seen a French macaroon, look up a French macaroon. They're always bright colors. They cookies, macaroons, chocolate dipped strawberries. Let's see. Oh, and if you were lucky enough to win an Oscar, then you actually got your own 24-karat dusted chocolate Oscar statue to eat. Okay, can we stop with the gold dusting thing again? So, blah, blah, blah. Oh, they had some plant-based. They had red velvet whoopie pies, cashew vanilla tiramisu. Tiramisu is one of my favorite desserts. Chocolate and sea salt cookies. And then they had some stars who had a plant-based diet. They had special dishes for them. So here, to give you an idea what it took to put this on for the day, they had 200 culinary staff. 200 culinary staff for the day. 850 service and support staff. They served they had 13,000 glasses for service, 4,800 small plates, and 6,000 cocktail forks brought in especially for this one occasion. You know, I'm just thinking about the dishwasher that has to wash 6,000 cocktail forks afterward. I don't know if you know what it takes to put on an event like this, just the setup alone, but the breakdown, there's great care taken not to break things during the breakdown. We should call it the non-breakdown, but when you disassemble everything, put it back in boxes, put the glasses back in crates, a lot of stuff just gets thrown in. Now, nothing gets washed on site. It all gets taken back to the shop, as we call it, which is the production facility for any catering company. So when you get back there, trucks are coming in and going out there. As soon as one truck is full, they just take everything back. And it may be a hodgepodge of things that are on the truck. One may be full of half cold and hot boxes that held food. The cold boxes may have pans of partially used items off of the buffet. They may have items that were not suitable for use, any further use. Actually, if it goes out to an event, you can't use it on another event. So once it leaves the kitchen, it's owned and has to be disposed of as used by that event. So you have all this extra food. You have these pans now that have been sitting sometimes overnight. And you think about, Wolfgang Puck's, these are probably not Wolfgang Puck's items. A lot of it's going to be rental stuff. It's cheaper, than buying the items and holding them in stock, and you just have somebody drop and deliver for you. But still, the people that say in Houston, Aztec Rental, right? You go to Aztec Rental, you rent your stuff. When it all comes back to them, they have to wash all that stuff. I mean, I can't imagine the dishwasher sitting there for 6 hours, maybe 2, 3, 4 hours just doing forks, because you can't just put them in a tray and wash them, right? You have to soak them, and then you have to put them in a tray and spray them off with a high pressure. You know, if you've ever seen in a kitchen, they have a little high pressure hose over the dish station that eventually over years starts to leak and spray you while you're spraying down. It sprays out of the top. So they got to spray off every tray. You can't stack them really. They kind of have to be, this is a tray or a dishwasher rack without any spikes or anything. It's just a flat rack with a small perforation in the bottom so the water can drain. But you have to spray all that stuff clean. Then you put it through the dishwasher. Now, you can probably put a couple hundred on per tray maybe. But 6,000, that's just cocktail forks. What about the regular forks, right? Now, it doesn't sound like most of this food was probably you could eat with a cocktail fork. I'm not sure if there's anything you had to sit down and eat. But more than likely, look, this is the Oscars. You're not going to just feed the stars food that is finger food only, although, I mean, I've heard of it. But, so that's just the forks, right? Now you have, like, see, 6,000 13,000 glasses. All right, so let's do a little math. 13,000. 13,000. We're going to say these are average. It's 5 by 5, right? So you have 5 glasses in a row, and you have 5 rows of glasses. All right, we divide that by 25. That's 520 racks of glassware. Now, some will have more, like water glasses will have more. The red wine glasses will have probably 5 by 5 or 4 by 4, or 5 by 5. So we'll say maybe we'll take off 50 racks. So 470 racks of glasses. Each cycle is, I don't know, we'll say 3 minutes. That's 1,470 minutes divided by 60. That's 23.5 hours just to do the glassware. Now, granted, they're going to have multiple dishwashers, multiple dish machines, et cetera, et cetera. But think about that. That's just the glasses. It's probably 2 minutes per cycle. But even so, that's still 18 hours. 17? That's a lot of washing. It's crazy what it takes to put one of these on. Now think about the resources necessary for that, right? The resources required to put on one of these events. The water that's used, the electrical consumption. I mean, I can't imagine how much electricity is used to put on one of these shows. I really can't. The transportation effect, the fuel used to transport everything to and from. I'm not saying, I'm not knocking the Oscars. I'm not knocking the big party that's put on. I wish I could attend as a guest and not just to, help prepare at one of these events for once. So people out there who are listening, this voice wants to go to the Oscars, please. I'd like to be nominated this year for. Yeah, it's quite an event. It's always astounding, and I've done so many events, even many on this scale. I'm still dumbfounded by the amount of work, effort, product, time that's needed to pull one of these events off. And I mean, pull it off by, we scrape by. I mean, just to make it work and make it be a good event, to make it enjoyable for the guests. Anyway, it's always fascinating to me. I was thinking, I did an event in Houston one time for 2,100 people. It's a plated event. This was a fundraiser for MD Anderson Cancer Center, right? And the guest of honor, I believe, was Joe Biden. So this was a while back. He was still, I think, he was still vice president. And it was a great event. 2,100 people seated. So we get there, and we have the tent was pretty big. Just for the kitchen was probably 8,000 square feet. About that. That's just the kitchen. Okay. So we start plating. We pre-plated all the salads. That was going to be a preset course. So preset, it wasn't actually set on the table, but as soon as they all sat, this flock of servers comes in and they only grab. So this is great. I worked for a company. I'm going to give you a plug down there. I probably shouldn't. I'm probably not supposed to talk about it, but this is City Kitchen. City Kitchen does a wonderful job. Gary and the crew there. Gary's one of the owners. They do an amazing job in Houston. They run most of the events in the gala district, or most of the galas in the museum district in Houston. They do a ton of amazing parties in private homes. Anyway, again, Gary, you can reprimand me later if stepping over my bounds here, but they do such a fantastic job. It's amazing. They seamlessly. These swarms of servers come in and start grabbing these plates, and they just go out, and they only carry 2 at a time. There's no 3 up the arm and 2 on this hand. They only carry 2 at a time. They all work white gloves at these events. And, so in about, 15, 20 minutes or so, they've set 2,100 salads down. Everyone sits down, and then this kind of organized chaos starts. So for the hour and a half leading up to the event, I was running the ovens. And what I mean by running the ovens, there's a bank of 10 ovens that have 3 racks each. And these are really high temp, like restaurant ovens. And they're running at 450 degrees, 500 degrees, because you're going to open the door, you lose a little heat. But, so you're cooking off the proteins. And I think my caller's supposed to call at the bottom of the hour. You know what? I think I made a mistake. I forgot to send in the call-in number, but I'll send it to him right now. But anyways, you're running these ovens. You're basically rotating. You have 1 just cooking fish, or 2 cooking fish, 2 cooking tenderloins. You have, and when I say tenderloin, this is a full-size sheet pan tray, which has 1, 2, 3, between 4 and 5 tenderloins on there, depending. Well, at least 3 per pan, but usually 4. And then, so the other item is sea bass, and then you also have to heat and then put in hot boxes all of the side dishes that have to be reheated. So, in this case, I think it wasn't a twice baked potato. I think in this case it was like potato gratin, and then there was also a rice option, I think, for some people. But and then you also have to heat all the vegetables. So the veggies were a mixture of I think it was asparagus, baby carrots, and these were heirloom baby carrots. There was there were 3 or 4 other vegetables in there, but it was just a really good medley of vegetables. Now, all that stuff's being heated and cooked over an hour and a half. Of course, the proteins are the last to go in the oven and come out. But it was interesting. It's interesting how much work it takes. Just right then, you're working. I was basically operating 10 ovens at once, 10 ovens with 8 to 10 different items in there, coordinating that all to come up within a 15-minute window so that you can start service. Now, once all the food comes out of the oven, then my job was to, first and foremost, before we start serving, was to slice. Mine was always no one else wanted to do it, so I always got to slice the tenderloin, right? And we're talking, okay, you take 2 whole tenderloins at a time, and you cut basically a 2-inch thick cut, a slice, all the way up. I believe we try to get 15 to 16 slices per. It was always very interesting because it's I don't always work a lot other than those catered events during certain times of the year. And so that the blister, the callus that I would normally have right here on my index finger, between it's where the index finger joins the hand, right on the inside towards the thumb. You usually have a big callus there when you're working chef, you're working every single day. Well, I didn't have one because I hadn't been working like every day, all day in a kitchen. So it always gets me, right? It basically was by the end, it's like a big fat blister. And by the next day, it's a big blister that had popped and torn off because you're working on another one. I know. So guys, Isaac's sitting here in the booth going, oh, no. Actually, that blister thing is not a big deal. It's when you get burned on site and you can't leave because you have a party to finish serving. That's the worst. And we'll talk about, battle wounds in a little while. But
in general, how much time did it take you to prep everything? You got to figure they have a full production kitchen that does the prep, and it takes them 2 full days to prep. Wow.
That's just the 2 full days before. And a lot of times they wouldn't prep until like the day before, and sometimes the day of. On a party like that, though, because it's a big coordinated event. Yeah. And it was still wintertime there. I want to say it was probably March, February. So they still had, I'm going to say it was February. They still had other events going on. Like post-holiday events, so they were pretty busy at that time of year. Wow. It's a lot of work. And they only have, I think they only have 5 full-time guys in their kitchen. And I'm sorry, if I'm giving out too much information, you know who you are. Give me a call. Chef Patrick, spank me on the hand. It's okay. Anyway, they have a fantastic operation. If you're in the Houston area, I've mentioned their name several times. But after an event like that, right, so you've had this big event, you had there's 2 entrees per plate. You had the seafood and the beef. Maybe you had a vegan option, but sometimes you walk away and your tummy hurts, right? So who are you gonna call? Not Ghostbusters, Atron Teal. So if you go to lovemytummy.com, if you have gas, bloating, abdominal discomfort, and if you have something that may be set off by a gluten sensitivity, Crohn's disease, things like that, try the product. I swear by it. It's fantastic. It's not necessarily meant for this, but it's also helped curb my appetite a little bit, and it's making it easier to eat cleaner. Again, that's lovemytummy.com. That's Atrantil. Our friends there will take good care of you. Matter of fact, Chef Ken, the gentleman who developed that product, is going to start hosting his own show right here, I believe, starting next week, the 7th, right? Yeah, that's starting next week. So starting the 7th, they'll have a live show out of the Spoony Studios. Every week, they'll host a gamut of specialists in the gastroenterology field, as well as other amazing personalities who are developing these wonderful products. They also have this really cool, I shouldn't say anything, we're going to have a great CBD product coming out. And if you know anything about me, I'm a huge proponent of CBD, hemp-based CBD products. Anyway, come check them out. In the meantime, you need to come back after this 2-minute break, because I have a gentleman named Andy Ace coming on, whose show is going to launch officially next Monday. I'm going to have to throw another show up because he did this great interview with the Four Roses, the bourbon company. And he'll be coming on to tell us about himself, his show. It's Boost, Booze, and Barbecue, baby. Come right back, Chef Patrick Mosher. We'll see you in 2 minutes.
Never Forgotten Apparel is more than just a premium women's and men's clothing line. It's a movement to remind us to wear American-made and serve those who serve us. Our heroes. Never Forgotten Apparel gives 20% of their total sales to nonprofits that support homeless veterans and off-duty firefighters, and 50% to individual veterans and firefighters in need nationwide. Check out neverforgottenapparel.com. Use promo code MATT, M-A-T-T. and get 15% off your purchase. Take the pain out of ordering your diabetic testing supplies with Diathrive. Diathrive ships the testing supplies you need directly to you when you need them. Best of all, with plans starting as low as $8 a month, Diathrive is probably going to cost you less than what you're paying today. Diathrive is so convinced that you'll love their service, they're offering your first month of supplies free. Simply type the code DOC, D-O-C, at checkout. Diathrive.com. That's DIA Thrive.com.
Have you done it? You catch a glimpse of yourself in the mirror?
I'm one of those people you don't want to see naked.
Yeah, most of us. But I mean, you look and you're going, what the?
I know.
How did I get to whatever?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, it's horrible. Hey there, it's Doc Thompson and Brad Staggs to tell you about a different way to shed those pounds. This is brand new tech. It's only been around for a couple of years or so. It was based on research from the University of California that said there's a molecule called OEA that's found naturally in your body. It produces it in the Mediterranean diet, that when taken in concentrated amounts, it will actually make you feel fuller and boost your metabolism.
I've lost about 10 pounds so far.
It's amazing.
It
now,
really is cool.
A company said, we can take this to market and make this great product that'll help you. It's called Riduzone, RIDUZone.com, RIDUZone.com. It's Brad's work. It's worked for Brad's, worked for me, countless other people. Go to Riduzone.com and try today. You're going to love it. Riduzone.com. Remember that, RIDUZone.com.
We're not solving all the world's problems, but we're bringing people to the table. Spoony.
And we're back. Thanks for coming back to join us, Spoony's listeners. This is Chef Patrick Mosher, the Food Biz Pro. It better not be your first time listening and watching, but if it is, or look, if you haven't watched before and you don't know where to watch, go to Facebook Live, Spoony Radio. That's Spoon with a Y, R-A-D-I-O. You can go to Spreaker for the podcast. You can go to, we're on iHeartRadio. The easiest way to get there is to go right to the website, spoony.com, click on the Listen Live, and you can listen to Who's Live then. Go to the show host menu, and it's self-explanatory. Choose a show host. If they're up on podcast, you'll find it. If not, listen to them when they're live. Anyway, I didn't win an Oscar last night, but you know what, Isaac? I did win something.
What you win, Jeff?
I won the Big Orange Spoony Award.
Wow.
No, not really. Not really. Before we had the Spoony logo up in the studio, Brad Staggs, our set designer and partner here, we had this big spoon and the E. And I'm not sure if was I supposed to wear this like what was his name? Flava Flav, with the clock.
Oh yeah,
you know what? I want to go to the Oscars. I want to go to the Grammys or the Oscars. I want to wear this and like, what up, man? Oh no, all right. I'm being stupid now. Must be sleep deprived. But anyway, the Oscars, yeah, pretty interesting show last night. If you didn't hear about the menu, they didn't get into too much specifics, actually. I'm surprised. Wolfing Puck usually gives the full menu. I'll have to find the full menu and post it. It was pretty impressive. But in the meantime, we have a little gentleman, a new show host for us here. We have, is that Andy Ace on the phone? Is that Mr. Boost, Booze and Barbecue? Pardon my fork? Is he there? Okay, there he is. You there, Andy?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, we're good. I don't know. Look, I'm not the tech guy, so I'd pretend to tell you what wrong, but it's probably just my hearing.
Well, I'm always concerned, is it your end? Is it my end? I mean, I do on a much smaller scale, what you guys do there at Spoony. And so I know how it feels, man. Always just kind of sitting there going, okay, is everything right? Is everything set up?
Well, what's even funnier is you put is that my end or you? And you put a double innuendo in there all at once. I'm saying, I'm sorry. It's been a long day. Man, we met in a very roundabout way. Mark,
we did. Yeah, we did.
Yeah, Mark Conway, who was formerly with another show, and now he's doing his own show. He's supposed to launch today. I may have been a bit behind on stuff. We'll launch him tomorrow on his new the Family Meal radio show that he's going to be doing on here. But you two met through the WFC, the World Food Championships. Is that correct?
Yeah, we sure did, man. He was there covering it, and I mean, I was also there covering it as well, but we got not sucked into. We in a roundabout way volunteered. I'll say that, to cook with another chef that was there, and we're not professional chefs, my wife and I, but we really gave it a go. We really did our best and had a lot of fun. Made it to the finals. And, of course, I was able to talk to Mark quite a bit, and super nice guy. I love what he's doing, and I really look forward to his show dropping. And I'm really looking forward to having my show on the Spoony Network. I can't wait.
Well, so are we, and not just for selfish reasons. Well, a little bit, because you are one of the hosts that edits and is going to be putting everything together for us. So it's basically the automation software just picks it up and runs it for us. So first and foremost, I thank you for that. But even more importantly, though, is the content of what you're doing. You have some really great interviews out there, and not to spill the beans, why don't you give the listeners an idea of what your show's gonna entail, and we'll give it a little more thorough plug here in a second.
Oh man. So I cover everything that is food and food sport, and we roll a pretty fair amount of beverage and libation in there as well. I have a pretty good working relationship with quite a few different spirits, beer, winery, brewers, distillers, that sort of thing. And so I have quite a bit of that content. I also have kept all of my contacts with all of my World Food Champion people that I met there. And we have a lot going on our show. We've had World Food Champs, we've had restaurateurs, chefs. Here just a couple of weeks ago, we had someone that's doing a very craft, upscale restaurant barbecue style joint, and he's won a whole bunch of different awards in the area he's in. And as a matter of fact, a little bit later on today, I'm going to be doing an interview with the chef that owns a couple of restaurants down in California. Again, someone that I met at the World Food Championships.
Nice.
Super nice guy, car guy. Yeah.
So quick question. Now, you have two different shows, right?
I do.
Okay, so which one are we? Because I don't want to.
I have.
You get the BBB, right?
Oh, I'm sorry. So. Yeah, we've got the 3BQ, the Boost, Booze, and Barbecue, and I still do a fair amount of barbecue stuff over there. Mm-hmm. And then Pardon My Fork, which is going to be weekly on Spoony Radio, as well as a handful of other stations. We are doing the food stuff, man. I think that, and I've talked to Mark Conway about this. He's been on my show before, and we've talked about how the food segment really just seems to be up and coming. Mm-hmm. Obviously, you guys started Spoony Radio, and you're just taking off like wildfire. So obviously, it's something that's up and coming. And it's interesting the way that food brings people together, not just in the kitchen, but over a radio.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Now, I'll be honest with you. I don't listen to a lot of other podcasts in our genre. I really don't. Like, I'd love to say I listen to David Chang. You know, I don't. I mean, he's an amazing chef. You know, with all the restaurants he's done now, his own media company. If you don't know who David Chang is, Momofuku in New York City. He's done a number of other Milk Bar, right? Very, very famous, very accomplished chef. Do you really listen to? I mean, I listen to people on here because A, I want to check for audio quality. B, I want to try to find some other content that I can continue that thread, maybe make it a little more own, but also kind of reinforce what we're talking about that we all are passionate about. But is there anybody out there you listen to? You don't have to, I mean, I'm just curious. I know that you were in this before you were doing this, right? You were in this realm. But yeah, is there anybody out there who's influenced your thought process in getting into this game?
I got to be honest with you, man. I can't give you another food podcast that I listen to. That's how, in my opinion, rare they are and how rare the good ones are. I can tell you a handful that I always try to avoid. Because I just don't like the way they sound.
We could say that, but that's funny. Actually, we should make a don't listen to list, but then we're giving them publicity. So.
Yeah, exactly. Don't do that. Don't do that. You know, it's just a little bit harder for me because I do the podcast production as well. I'm going to say the name, but nobody can find anything on it. I apologize because I started getting more work than I could handle before I even launched the website. So I run a business called Thomas Creek Digital Media, and it's not out on Facebook or Instagram or anything yet, but I'm working on it. But I produce a number of different podcasts for people, and then of course I produce my own 2 podcasts. And honestly, I'm thinking about getting a third going. If I do that, I might have to reprioritize my time. I'm not 100% sure, but it's one of those things where it's like once I got into this, and once I started really utilizing my skills to edit and master and produce, my time to listen to other people's shows has gone away. It's just evaporated. And so, I still listen to Adam Carolla a little bit. I still listen to like Joe Rogan a little bit.
I love it. Joe Rogan's really honestly yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, and Adam Carolla, I like listening to him almost more just because his way of introducing his live reads and stuff. I try to emulate that in my show because he's really good at it. And so that's just one of the reasons why I listen to it. I don't know.
Well, I'll apologize to our advertisers. I'm not that great at introducing it, so sorry. I do my best. It is what it is. So, hey, you know what? Yeah, we should work out something where those guys who can't edit and produce their own shows, maybe we could work out a deal. We're killing producer Ron over there, and I'm not smart enough on the software yet to help edit. I mean, I do some, but man, it's a full-time job over here just trying to edit and produce shows, and it's.
Oh yeah, it is. I feel bad for your producer. If he needs any help, I mean, I'm a nice guy. We'll get along. I'm on top of it, and so.
Well, no. Here's the deal. We'll give you the parameters. We'll just send you the shows, and then you can charge the host. You know, that's something we could just go directly to you, and then they drop it in their Dropbox. Yeah. So all you hosts that are listening, it's coming. The time is coming. We have enough hosts now that I can start making demands. That's the thing. As we're going through growing pains before. And we had great hosts. Don't get me wrong, but at one point you get to this panic mode. Because I was doing 4 to 5 live shows a week. Doc would maybe do 3, and then it was sporadic on the weekly shows. You might get one every 10 days, you might get one every 2 weeks, you might get one once a month during the holidays, and then there were some who were religious about getting you one every week. But it's like trying to hire up an Aspen where we do the mirror test, right? Where you know what that is, the mirror test. So you put the mirror in front of their mouth, and if it fogs up, you hire them. It means they're breathing, right? It's that's usually about 2/3 of the way through the season. You have like 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks of season left, and you're like, I just can't do this anymore. I need you got guys calling in for powder days like, dude, you didn't show up for work. Like, yeah, dude, it was a powder day. It was awesome, man. You should have been up on the slopes with me. It's like, we got a restaurant to run, man. Come on, so you get to that point, and now we're getting about a new show a week. As a matter of fact. We have yours launching very soon. I'm gonna actually put up. I really want to get because it's timely. I want to put out your interview with that was with Four Roses, right?
Yeah, it was with Al Young,
Mm-hmm.
and I was about to say that I loved doing that one. I loved editing it. I loved putting it out. Al Young is a legend in the bourbon community.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if any of your listeners really know that much about him, but he's in the Kentucky Whiskey Hall of Fame. He's in the, I think, the Bourbon Magazine Hall of Fame. He's been in the industry for 52 years. I mean, the guy is just an absolute legend. And so being able to get him on the show, it was like if I had scored Chef Patrick Mosher for my show. Like, that's how big it was.
Oh, man, that was a good plug. I appreciate that. I blushed a little bit. Look at that. Oh. That was really funny. Thanks, Andy.
And you know what's funny? What's funny is Al was kind enough to let me do a drink. We had a cat pass away the same day that his box showed up with his book and a few testers. And that night, you know, obviously we were distraught. It's a cat that we'd had for 12 years. It predated my wife and I's marriage. And so I came home and I did just a splash of Marcotte Distilling apple pie moonshine, flavored moonshine, in the Four Roses small batch. And it was such a beautiful drink, and it was so good. And then just a little splash of, like, club soda. And we named it after him. We called it the Johnny Montana. And when I told Al Young about that, he was so on board. He was like, oh, my gosh, share that out. I want people to know it. So he was just very cool talking to us.
Very cool. That's almost awesome. Awesome. Yeah, I can't wait to, so I wanted to give it a listen last week, but I really want to hear the editing you've done for Spoony. So, again, I'll get that out there. And I'm thinking my show goes to 2 hours tomorrow. I might just roll that in as the second hour, but I think I have two callers, so we'll see. And then, 2 hours, is a little more content, prep, as you know. I am not one that's very good on content prep or lining up show callers, show guests. I think I need to start working on that. Isaac, get your dialing number.
Or you need the producer.
Say what?
Yeah, Isaac, get your dialing fingers ready. I'm joking. Right. I'm joking. So,
hey, Patrick,
yeah.
We've glossed over something, though. I want to know what one of your favorite drinks are. Are you a bourbon guy?
I am. I'm a huge fan of the old fashioned. Or just plain bourbon neat. Actually.
Oh, you're an old-fashioned dude.
Mm-hmm.
Bourbon neat. People need to experience that at some point in their life. They need to be able to find a bourbon that they can drink neat and not have to worry about, like, that alcohol burn or anything like that, because they exist. They're out there. You might have to pay a little bit more for them.
Oh, yeah.
But I hate when people just, like, shotgun a good whiskey of any kind. I'm just like, no, dude, what are you doing? You have to, like, you got so much going into this thing, and you've got so much time and energy. And, on this episode that you guys are dropping with Al Young, he talks to me about the different yeast strains that they use that give the fermentables their flavor, which then carries over into the distillate. Like, there's so much thought that goes into this. I hate people that shotgun that stuff. Anyway, sorry for the mini rant.
No, that's okay.
What's your favorite bourbon?
Oh, so anyone who's watched the show, my favorite right now is the Basil Hayden. All right, I can't lie. I just saw and tried. We just got the Basil Hayden Dark Rye just came in. We had one of our listeners brought some in on Friday. Oh my goodness, that was interesting. That's a pretty unique flavor. I like Baker's 7, the 7-year. Four Roses they have more than just one. They have several that are great. There's some small batch stuff that I like.
Yeah, there's.
Go ahead.
The single barrel, Four Roses single barrel, that stuff, especially at the price point that it's at, here in Oregon, it's $50. And considering it is a single barrel 9-year bourbon whiskey, I think that's one of the best deals out there right now. And I'm not just saying that because Four Roses was on my show. Like, I honestly was astonished by it. And I am going to go out and buy another bottle of it.
Well, we'll get a bottle. We'll put it in here. Maybe we'll get them on as a show sponsor, right? We'll just keep a bottle sitting right there. And on Thirsty Thursdays, we'll take a little nip. It's funny. So I'm trying to think of, I was working on a segment, the themed segments for the same day each week. And Tuesday. I'll probably do a Tuesday taco, but I'll do some sort of a unique take on that. We'll work on. We'll go to like the the regional cuisines of Mexico where they do like crickets and things like that. We'll do some really interesting stuff. Or we can do a Japanese spin on some tacos, right? Since that's the cuisine I specialize in. But I can't. The rest of the week is kind of all drinks, like Wine Down Wednesday, Thirsty Thursdays. We do a beer for breakfast on Friday on another show, and then it tends to kind of carry over onto this show. So I'm trying to think. I need to work my way out of that. I know my sister and I are going to do a segment each week, which is she's a life and business coach, and along with her husband, that's Karen and Kevin Carey. And so the three of us are going to do kind of a entrepreneurial based show where I would love to have, actually I won't lie, I would love to. I'm going to have a caller for one half of the hour, and the other half of the hour we'll kind of talk about some of the things that we heard during that interview that we could kind of give them some low hanging fruit and things to work on. And we're looking for entrepreneurs in the food and beverage business who are either launching a product or a service, or have gotten a foothold but want to grow to the next level and are facing specific challenges that maybe they can or can't identify. So Fridays, I gotta think of something on Fridays, so I'm not stuck in that whole continuing to drink mode. I just, my liver's saying stop. Not really. It's funny. I have friends say, gosh, you drink a lot on Fridays. I'm no, not actually. I pour the first one full, and then after I drink that first one on Beer for Breakfast Fridays, I kind of take a little pretend sip and I put it back down. I might take a little sip. I may finish the second glass, but these are 6-ounce glasses, and I only put about 3 to 4 ounces in it. So it's deceptive. I'm not an alcoholic, and I know sometimes I start early, but I don't drink all day. I know. As odd as that may seem for a chef.
I hear it.
Well, look, I'm not in the kitchen anymore.
I'll tell you what. Mm-hmm. Well, Patrick, I am really close to starting a booze-only show myself, and I don't know how dangerous that'll be. It's just we have so much interest from that industry. It's like you and I talked about before. They're particularly underserved, especially in the radio and podcasting and stuff like that kind of area. And I just don't see any reason why they shouldn't be served with the same amount of, coverage, I guess, as other food stuff, because they really do go hand in hand, right?
Mm-hmm. No, exactly. And so but spirits especially, they don't really have a place to advertise anymore, right? They can do a little bit on terrestrial radio, but not really. They can't advertise. Let's see. I guess they can do TV, but radio, there's really not much for them in the cigar space as well. Cigars really have nowhere outside of tobacco-specific magazine, which is a cigar like Cigar and Spirits or Cigar Aficionado. Cigar and Spirits is they're number 2 on the block, but they are a really amazing magazine. Really love those guys over there. Go check them out if you have the opportunity. Even if you don't like cigars, they have some great coverage in there. But yeah, there's not a lot of room for them, and there's not a lot of love for them out there. So we will gladly take their product and hopefully their advertising dollars and have some fun with it. So what do you think is your show?
Man.
Is your show just is it gonna be highlighting featured product? Because I'll tell you, I'd like to do one too, but I don't want to cross over too much or tread on. And I think I told you about it. The Beer for Breakfast segment, which started out kind of as a joke because we had a rough week one time, and I just took some stuff into Matlock's show and on our sister channel, and it was a big hit. People loved it, and they were commenting, and they're getting back with us. And it's I don't want to say the highest watch segment each week, but it's very entertaining. It's very highly watched. And I'm going to do that over here. I'd like to, like on a Wednesday or Thursday night, we'll get 3 other people in here, right here in the Spoony studio, and we'll just hang out and. We'll each have a beverage. Maybe we'll have the same thing. Maybe we won't. But we'll just talk like life and talk shop and sit around and BS a little bit. It's like 4 grown men, or maybe I don't know. Who knows? Maybe Beth, one of our partners, will be in here. Might be a woman. But we'll talk shop, BS a little bit, and I'm sure we'll laugh a lot. The alcohol, what a social lubricant tends to do that, right?
I heard that, man. I am trying to get, the reason why I say maybe I'll do this is because I don't really want to do it by myself. I do my other 2 shows by myself, and it's fine. I like doing it, and people seem to respond well to it. But I have a friend that is a sommelier, and I'm trying to convince him to just give me an hour and a half a week where we can stop and record. And if we can make that happen, he can bring so much knowledge to the table, and I think it would be a really fun show to listen to.
That would be great. I actually have a friend who works for, all right, Adam, you know who you are. He works for Plumpjack Winery. I don't know if you know who they are, but they're a very kind of boutique winery that has amazing wines. And Adam was going to do a show for us revolving around wine, but he had just taken this job. I think he's the assistant GM there, and it's a big job. And it was just at harvest time. And he was the beverage director for Hubble and Hudson, which was a gourmet retail store and bistro that we had opened up in the Woodlands in just outside of Houston. But Adam really, that was a show I was looking forward to having. And so to have someone do that, so I'm plugging Adam, and Plumpjack. I'm hoping that he'll send me part of his allotment for the year, because I would love nothing more than to try one of their wines right here on the air and have him on the phone kind of talk me through it as a one-time segment. But to have somebody in studio do that with you each week, or however frequently that would be, I think would be a really fun show. You're right. There's no one out there that does that right now. Not on Spoony, and not many of them out there in general.
Well, I'll tell you, there are a couple of shows that are doing it, but they're not doing it very well. And I hate to say that. Like, I don't want your listeners hearing me talk about this right now to think I'm being like a total douche. But the fact is, there are some shows out there that do talk to some of these people, and quite frankly, they're kind of the premier shows that talk about this stuff, and their production quality is so bad, I just can't even listen to it. And so that's why I'm kind of sitting here going, well, maybe I should consider doing one of my own. And of course, then, you and I talked about it the other day, and it just kind of got my brain going. Hey, lots of topics for you to talk about. I'm sorry, Patrick, I'm going to have to let you go. I've got a chef that's calling me in 5 minutes for Pardon My Fork. So we're going to get that rolling, and I thank you for chatting with me.
No, thank you. So basically, I've been fired. You're fired, Patrick. You're fired. No. All right, man. Hey, thanks for calling in. Andy, I really appreciate it. I'll let you know when we're gonna air that first segment, and then we'll get you rolling daily as of next Monday. We'll launch you next Monday, okay?
Hey, that sounds fantastic, man. And everybody that's watching, you have a great day.
Thank you. All right, talk to you. Andy Ace, that's Pardon My Fork's show host. Look forward to him launching next week on Spoony. I really want to get the other interview up and on the air this week. I think it'd be really good and timely. It's a great interview. I did catch part of it, but I want to see the format he's doing for us first. And look, it's our show. It's my channel. I want to hear it on our format here at Spoony. So let's see. Oscars party last night. So if you didn't have an Oscars party last night because you didn't know what to make, and you don't know how to really necessarily upscale the food that you would eat normally for a watch party, viewing party like that, if you want to eat something simple, say, most people have popcorn and some snacky food. One of the things that I used to love to do is artichokes. And you can eat them like popcorn when you're watching a TV show or a movie or whatever you're watching. But basically, the first thing I do is you cut off about the top quarter to 1/3 of the artichoke. Now, you want to make sure the artichokes are firm, that the leaves are big enough to have some meat on the inside. If they're really tiny, it's just not worth investing in. And also, if they have the stem still attached, which they should, make sure that everything is still firm and not too dried out. So the very bottom where they cut the artichoke can be dried out. That's not a problem. But if you trim that, then it should still have that kind of, it should be wet inside, right? All right, so the first thing you do is cut the top off. But when you cut the top off, you want to make sure you cut far enough down in that you can see the choke. And that's these smaller leaves and then the feathers that are inside, right? So you might not be able to see all, like the feathery part, but you want to see the small bunch of whitish yellow leaves inside. And then you want to take a pair of scissors and basically cut there's a little tip at the top of each leaf that you're going to cut off. It's got a little spike in it, right? That little spike hurts like a mother when you poke yourself in the finger. So cut those off. And then lastly, as you get down towards the base of the artichoke and the stem, you peel off. There's going to be a few leaves probably growing on the stem. Peel those off, and maybe 1 to 2 rows above that, there'll be some really, really, really fibrous leaves. Just peel those off and throw them away. So After you get that done, then you can pry the inside of the artichoke open and take a big spoon. Yep, not Chef Patrick, just take a big spoon and scrape out the inside. So you want to take out all those tiny yellow leaves inside, which will leave you about 5 or 6 layers of leaves on the outside, and then those smaller, they're going to be unformed leaves that don't have any, they won't have a darker and lighter section, which means there's no meat at the bottom of the leaf. That's what you scrape off that you eat in the artichoke. So you scrape that out as cleanly as you can, and now you'll see the top of what is the base of the artichoke, or the artichoke bottom. All right, and if you leave that very long, it starts to discolor. It oxidizes, turning a purple and reddish. All right, so then you bring a pot of water up to boil. You put those in there. You can steam them or just put them in the artichoke pot. In the artichoke pot, I cut some lemons in half, squeeze those in, throw them in, whole peppercorns. You can throw in some whole garlic cloves, and then you let them steam until you can, when you insert a knife into the top of the artichoke, into the middle where the base is, where you've now cleaned out all the choke, it goes in that easily. And also the stem should be easy to pierce. Now, when you pull it out, you let it cool. You can actually peel the stem more easily now without having to do it before you cook it. It just kind of peels off. All that fiber stuff peels off. You can eat the whole stem. The base, after you get all the leaves off, you can eat the base. I just take mayonnaise, cayenne, chili pepper, cayenne chili powder, and a little bit of lemon juice, and it makes a great snack. So there you go. That's my secret to artichokes for the movie instead of popcorn. All right, so thanks for listening. If you're watching on Facebook today, I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, man, I'm looking forward to Andy Ace's show launching. Also, tomorrow we have Rob Carson launching on his new show, Sound Bites. Anyway, folks, Chef Patrick Mosher, the Food Biz Pro, thank you for listening. Thanks for watching. Tell all your friends and family, if you watch the video, share it, start your own viewing party. We really appreciate your, appreciate your support, man. It's been a rough time the last couple of weeks. We're finally back on track. Again, tomorrow my show goes to 2 hours live, Monday through Friday. Obviously not today. Tomorrow's Tuesday. This is Chef Patrick Mosher, the Food Biz Pro. Ciao for now. Listen tomorrow.
This is the only 24-hour Take Anywhere platform dedicated to food and fun. We're Spoony.